Hello, how are you doing? I wanted to jump on here and share something that's present for me. Um, and it was a really meaningful transition that happened over the past couple days. But before I do that, I just want to express gratitude to you for being here. It's been really special and meaningful for me to have this container where I can share this content about my journey. It's felt really supportive. So thank you so much for being a part of it. So, as you know, I uh, am planning on having my first orchestral concert in England March of next year. And I shared in a previous post, how that all came about. There was this moment in January where I just got this like download, like this really clear, energetic vision and feeling that this was going to happen. And even though my mind couldn't understand how, it just seemed super clear to me. And since that time, there have been more practical elements that have come in, like, okay, how is this going to be done? Asking questions, having conversations, doing some research, and realizing the some of the more the scale and the actuality of how this would come about, including cost, including all the tasks, and at times it's been really overwhelming, and to the point where I wasn't 100% committed that I was actually going to do it. And I would just be like, you know what, like, uh, maybe this is going to happen, maybe it's not. And, and I got to these places, like, I feel like these dark places where I was just like mentally, just like, I would start, this self talk about, oh, again, like imposter syndrome, you're not good enough. Who are you to do this concert? Like, nobody's going to show up. Um, so, better to just like stop now. Don't take the risk. Don't try to do this and maybe make a fool of yourself or whatever the talk might be. And actually to the point where I was considering, okay, well, if I don't do this, then what am I going to do with my life? How am I going to make a living? And all this stuff, like going down these rabbit holes. And it kind of it kind of came to a head like a couple days ago where I just felt super depressed and you know like I couldn't see how it was possible, and I was like, I'm not the one to do this. And I was like, okay, so what's the alternative? If I don't do this, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to just go in a closet and where it's safe, right? Where there's no risk to go do something I've done before? And I'm like, no, I can't do that. So it kind of this stalemate. So basically, the only choice that I gave myself was like, you know what? Like, screw it. Like, there are not many things that are clear to me in life, but the something that's very very clear is that music is something to do with it. And you know, it's not often I get that clarity and excitement about something, and more often than not, those excitements and clarities happen around music. So to me, that's something to trust. It's something to be like, okay, yeah, maybe I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe, maybe I don't know a lot of things, but if I'm not going towards that, if I'm not taking steps out, if I'm not actually giving the universe an opportunity to surprise me in terms of how it could work by actually walking in that direction, then I am, in some ways, I feel like I'm not listening to what is being asked to come through me. Um, and, as and it also, as soon as that happened, as soon as I kind of made that adjustment within myself, like, okay, I'm going to do this. Yes, it's risky. Yes, it feels vulnerable. Yes, it feels overwhelming. Yes, it feels daunting. All that's valid, and that's okay. And that's not a reason for me not to do it. Um, and as soon as I made that adjustment within myself, like, I felt all of this energy shift within me in terms of my outlook and my perspective. It kind of like felt like a weight, had been lifted off of myself, that ultimately I realized like I was the one putting it on myself. Um, and so, yeah, like, um, there are a lot of unknowns, you know, and also it's exciting, because I don't know. And because I'll have to learn new things and because I'll have to figure things out. And it creates all of these opportunities for a lot of mystery and magic and newness to enter into my world, where otherwise if I go with the things that feel safe, if I go with the things that I know, then I'm going to get what I've always gotten. And there's just something within my being and my spirit right now that is like making it very clear to me that that's not acceptable. That I could choose that, but it's like every time like I kind of veer and go in that direction, it it feels in my system like I'm walking through mud. So it's just not a preferable path. So anyway, yeah, I right now I feel really good. I feel really inspired, and I have a lot of clarity on, yeah, like all the things that need to be done. And my mind is blossoming with the like leaves sprouting from branches of showing me all the things. And you know and it's a lot, and also I know it's possible, and also I know it can happen, and I can do it. And it means like there's work to do, which is great because it gives me a reason, like when I wake up in the morning, okay, I have a purpose. I know what I'm doing today. And ultimately too, I realize it's not about what happens in the future. It's not about the concert happening. It's not about if that leads to anything or if that's the final thing I ever do with music. It's not about that. It's about each day. How is my energy aligned? And if I have a vision, and if I am following my excitement and my passion, that is immediately in the moment rewarding. It's not me putting an effort towards something that I hope one day will make me feel content. Because I know at this point in my life that the things that are meaningful are not the tangible. It's not experience. It's not money. It's not these other things. I mean, it's because ultimately the essence behind why those things are feel meaningful is because of the sense of energetic state that comes at the same time. And ultimately for me, especially combined with what I've learned from doing spiritual practice, is like what I truly desire is a state of peace and happiness. And what I realize is that that is my state. That's all of our natural state is peace and happiness. And then there are ways that I can be uh, in alignment or not in alignment with that. And that ultimately, the misalignment, the feeling misalignment, is ultimately the gift that guides me back to alignment, to being with myself. So, yeah. So, anyway, I wanted to share that because, I think it feels like a turning point. I feel like a year from now, when this concert is happening, you know, this moment, this last 2 months of this whole struggle that's been going on within me, and then the kind of choice to go in this direction and to do it regardless of the fact that I don't know exactly how everything will unfold, is significant. So I wanted to share. And I also am sharing because I really don't think that this is any sort of unique process to me. I, I think that this is a human thing, and um, and yeah, I think it's something that maybe many of you can relate to. And I think one of the big takeaways is for me that the fact that I feel overwhelmed, daunted, vulnerable, etc., what dot dot dot, whatever it is, and excited, all like these apparently conflicting states, the fact that I'm feeling both of them is not an indicator. Like the presence of fear in all of its forms is not an indicator that I'm not going in the right direction. In fact, it's an indicator that I'm going in the right direction, the path of growth, the path of expansion, the path of becoming I use that word lightly because, again, it's not, I don't see it as like I have somewhere to go and somewhere to get to. That's another conversation because it depends on what I am speaking about. I, who I truly am, have nowhere to get to. I, as the ego, appears to have a journey, and that's all cool. But in terms of my relationship, am I relating, less and less I'm associating with that in terms of who I truly am. So yeah, so that's it. So thank you for listening, and yeah, more coming soon.